or biglou.com.
This is Rutherford County's Blue Raider station, FM 100.5 and 101.9, AM 1450, WGNS, Murfreesboro. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Hey, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with your hosts, Rick and Wayne. We come to you every Tuesday morning here at WGNS Studios in Murfreesboro and try to put on a good show for everybody every week. Today's going to be a questionable one, but we're going to do our best to make it happen. But hard to that's pretty cool about Gary Farley. I served with him on the commission, and I'm glad he called in on the phone, because if him and Mike Sparks were both in the same room, I don't know we'd have our show right now. They're pretty good at what they do.
We've been preempted.
Yeah, but he was a good dude, though. Gary was always had his heart in the right place, and we got a lot done when we were on the commission. But good morning, Wayne. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Brother Rick. Well, how are you? Good weekend, I hope, for you.
Yeah, a little sleepy. It's kind of cool last night, and it's nice.
Yeah, you know? I think I just woke up out in the green/blue room.
It's got a week without grandkids. You can sleep in.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I was trying to recover. You know, we did Vacation Bible School last week, and I took them, and I was a volunteer, and that was my first Vacation Bible School as an actual participant, and great experience. My grandchildren had a great time, you know, with the lessons about our Father in heaven and our Savior, and but I was leg weary afterwards. So, but it was a good week, and so I had the weekend to recuperate.
So, did you watch any sports? What about them Vols?
Well,
did you keep up with any of that?
I did watch the Vols, and I also tried to watch the Braves, but they're
horrible.
Killing me.
Horrible.
They're just killing me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm hopeful that second half they'll blossom. But we'll see. Hopeful.
Yeah.
Hopeful. Hey, it's less than 90 days to football season, so I'm
exactly right.
I'm pretty happy.
College football's around the corner.
It is. It's good. So, Rick, this morning we've got two great friends with us, and it will be a great show just because they're great people. But we have former Murfreesboro City Councilman and Senior Vice President of Pinnacle Bank, Ronnie Martin, and we have Tucker Marcum, who works in energy development and is a candidate for the state as a state rep. So both a lot of community leadership experience and some political savvy, and good thing we don't have a call-in show, because people may be calling Councilman Martin for what's the interest rate right now? Good morning. A lot.
Thanks,
good morning, gentlemen. Great to have you. We always try to get you to talk about yourself in this first segment, if you don't mind.
Tucker?
Yeah, let's go. I appreciate y'all having me on. Enjoy being in Smyrna Rotary with both of y'all. One of my favorite community organizations to be a part of. Wings of Freedom Fish Fry every year, and always good meetings, good speakers, and really good folks there. My name's Tucker Marcum, born and raised in Rutherford County. Grew up in the Rockvale area. Attended Eagleville, Rockvale, Central Magnet School, all for periods of time. And work in energy development, so get contracted out by various companies working on project approval and kind of the permitting process for energy projects around the South, and really enjoy that. Serve as vice chairman of the Rutherford County Public Building Authority, which has been very, very neat. We oversee and manage all the construction of the county's county building projects. So working right now on the public health and safety buildings around the county, and has been a good way to see how frustrating government can be sometimes, but also a good way to kind of give back and add some insight and make sure that the tax dollars are going in the right place. Pulled the trigger on looking at running for State Representative District 34 back in November of last year. It's a great district, downtown Murfreesboro, the Cason Lane, St. Andrews area, and then basically everything west of 231, south of 99. So it gets all the good folks out in Christiana, Midland, Rockvale, Versailles, out to Eagleville as well, and just working hard at it every single day and trying to do it differently. I'm very happy to be with 3 people who have served in elected office and have done it the right way here right now.
Thank you.
Been present, answered the phone calls, returned the emails, and kind of never forgot who they were working for, right? And really want to take that attitude to Nashville and feel like we got a really, really large challenges, especially on a lot of these local issues, and really kind of put the personality and egos out of politics and really focus on tackling those issues, building relationships, maintaining relationships, and just do the job well. So appreciate y'all having me on.
We'll talk about family real quick.
Excuse me?
Talk about your family.
Yes, single right now. No kids yet. But born and raised in Rutherford County. Dad and mom both have lived here. Mom was the bookkeeper out at Eagleville for a long time, and opened up Blackman. First born and raised here. They family's originally from Campbell County, Tennessee, coal mining country. And then my grandfather broke his back in the coal mine, so they moved up to Dayton, Ohio. So my dad was born there, but moved down here just as quick as he could after getting out of school.
Escaped.
I feel like everybody has a tie to Ohio somewhere, somehow. So yes, sir.
I got Ohio thing. They had a thing they asked about what a Buckeye was, and there was so many Ohio fans didn't understand what a Buckeye was.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know. I know.
We'll get former director of school Harry Gill. He's a Buckeye fan, but of course he was born, I think, in Ohio, but he's been in Smyrna all his life.
I always wondered what was wrong with him.
One little thing, a little off.
I'm kidding, Harry.
Yeah.
He's a good
Really?
man.
Yeah, because he'll be on before we know
Oh,
it.
he'll call me.
Councilman?
Rick Wayne, thanks for having me here. Tucker, thanks for the invitation. It's been a while, so it's glad to be back in the studio. My name is Ronnie Martin, and lifelong resident of Rutherford County. I'm a banker. I've been a banker here most of my career, which has really become a long period of time as I approach 50 this year. So it's hard to believe I'm going to turn 50 years old in about a month. But
You're still a young'un.
yeah, I don't. We were talking about that earlier. I don't feel like that when I wake up most mornings, but I try to stay busy and healthy. But work at Pinnacle Financial Partners. I'm very proud of that firm and the people that I serve with. Had the privilege to serve the citizens of Murfreesboro as a council member from 2018 to 2022. Like most things, we talked about this a little earlier. I think I was given more than I gave in that service. You learned a lot about our city, learned a lot about how you try to plan for needs of the community, and then you learn a lot about how everybody's needs are different, and so you start trying to balance that with quality of life and business, and it's hard, as you gentlemen know. So, and Tucker's knows that, but if he has the opportunity to serve, he'll learn that even more so. Got a beautiful family. I remarried last year, and so my wife Brooke has 2 children. So I have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old at home, as well as a 25-year-old and a 22-year-old. So
Bless your
You wanted
heart.
to do it again.
I'm very experienced. Glad to be here with you all and see the friendly faces, and thanks for asking.
Yeah, great. Tucker, so you talked about you wanting to run for this seat now for the state level. What got you into it as far as why did you choose to run for that position, and why go state versus local?
The need. Like I said, I think some of the biggest issues we are facing are local issues that tie directly into the state. What frustrates me at times is the state likes to run around bragging about, budget surpluses here and tax cut here, which is great. I think the state's in pretty dang good shape. But it's not exclusive to Rutherford County, but you got counties like Rutherford that are struggling, to really figure out how to make up for a lot of these unfunded mandates that come out of Nashville. There's unfunded mandate after unfunded mandate where there's dollars not attached, and that falls back on, like your time in the county commission falls back on y'all, falls back on the municipalities to figure out how to pay for that. And as we know and have experienced here in Rutherford County the past couple years, that has fallen on the back of property taxpayers the past several years. And that just really can't happen anymore. We got a lot of really, really big challenges in Rutherford County. And you first and foremost really need to attempt to have some real relationships with those folks that are living and breathing local government every day, the folks who are serving on the county commission, on the city councils, who are closest to the folks, and they're going to see them at the Hardee's in the morning or out at Elrod's in the morning, and are present and answer their phones and get the emails and respond to the emails and really build good relationships with them, so we can kind of take and tackle some of these issues that we're having on a local level from a statewide level. I think Rutherford County is an economic engine of Tennessee, and you really need to have a legislator that can take and run with that, can go up to Nashville and share the need and the challenges that we're having here in Rutherford County, and try to make a little progress on tackling some of these. So yeah, just a need. I mean, I love local government, especially, and I think this was a way where you can assist local government, and while also tackling some of these other big challenges that the state as a whole is facing. I was going up to the Capitol, as a little, snot-nosed 13, 14-year-old kid throughout high school, and kind of got that bug, and have always enjoyed the state legislative process, and really think there's a lot of big issues up there, and really need to work together to tackle some of these issues on a local level that we're facing, where we haven't had much help the past couple of years.
Councilman, I know that there were a lot of people here in the borough that were disappointed that you did not run for re-election, because
I'm one of them.
Yeah, you were considered one of the strongest leaders that we've had in Murfreesboro in quite some time.
Thank you, Wayne.
And it's just time with family, because I mean you certainly made your mark.
Yeah, it was, I think, and, everybody at the table can appreciate this, from their own lenses. I think you come for, one reason when you decide to participate in anything, whether it be some sort of volunteer service or family or, work or whatever. You come for a reason, you stay for a reason, and then a lot of times when you decide to go, it's for a different reason too. And so, I had never even considered serving in any sort of elected capacity. And a current council member, give him credit where credit's due, Kurt Wade, approached me about serving on the council. And I won't ever forget this. We were good enough friends where I just kind of hung up on him as we were talking, because I thought it was funny. I was like, you've lost your mind. I'm not doing that. And then he had shared it with some other people, and then some other people started calling me and asking me about this. And the short version is, I sort of had this moment where I felt a little guilty that I had not done more for others, and I had convinced myself prior to that you all work in business and insurance, and it's really easy to tell yourself, hey, I work really hard for my clients day in and day out, and I serve the people that do that. But of course they pay you to do that, and so that's part of the business exchange. But I had not, prior to that, devoted a lot of time where I didn't receive anything back. Most of what I had done had been trying to, build a career, ambition professionally, and those types of things. And so that moment created a little awareness in my life that I probably should be doing more to give back. So I decided to ran, had a lot of help, a lot of support, had at that point, a 25-year business career in the community. And so I had lots of people that I could call on, that I had built friendships and relationships to say, hey, I'm going to do this. And I think I'd built enough credibility at that point in time where people knew that, I wasn't just doing that for me. I was doing it out of an act of service. And so, it was an honor to serve with those that I served with. It was a privilege and very humbling to get to learn what I had the chance to learn about our community that, I didn't know previously. But one of the things that I think does happen, and I'd be interested in everyone's perspective at the table, is that what you find is when you get into that service, there are constant challenges that come your way to start trying to make you compromise who you are, whether they be values that you share, whether they be standard virtues or beliefs and those kinds of things. And what happened is I wanted, what I knew I could do was I could contribute the time, I could work hard, I could do the work, and I was not afraid to have difficult conversations. And so that's what I tried to do well. But in time, it got to be where though that process, those things, you start to see them strain personal relationships, and you start to see them strain business relationships. Or you can not strain those things and then compromise your own personal values. And I just got to the point where I didn't feel comfortable doing that anymore. And that's not related to anyone specifically or anything specifically. It just got to the point where it was a little uncomfortable for me. And then, the other thing that I'm very guilty of, because of how I approach my work and most everything I do, your family starts sacrificing, and so I was spending far too much time away from home, far too much time away from my family, because I was pouring myself into these other things. Sure. And so I've tried to, it's a lesson for me, I tried to say, hey, I've done this, and I think others can do it just as well as me, and I'm going to give others the opportunity to do it. And felt great about the people that were on the council, and they're still friends of mine today. And so I thought, the city would be just fine without Ronnie Martin. So,
well, you can still be a mentor to,
and that's part of what we're doing here, right?
Right.
We lift each other up, and we encourage each other and support each other. And I think, I met Tucker, interestingly enough, through that campaign process when I was running, and I was so impressed of how hard he was working. I expected to work that hard, but he was younger then. I mean, this would have been 6-8 years ago, kind of thing. I thought, man, this kid's a kid, and he's like a baby out here killing himself doing
Makes
this.
you feel bad.
Yeah, and I was like,
I feel that work a lot more now than
he
I
just
did back
thinks
in
he's
that.
going to outwork me. He's not going to outwork me, but proud of
that.
him and proud of what he's decided to do.
love that youthful enthusiasm.
For sure, yeah, absolutely, and we need that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree 100% of what you're bringing up, because you brought up things like those difficult conversations. You can't run away from problems, and if you hit them head on, then you not always agree on everything, but both parties can walk away and kind of have some kind of agreement that, hey, I got my point across, or
Right.
if you understand it or not understand it. But I raised taxes 3 of the 4 years I served on the 4 years, and I got beat on re-election, but I knew it was because I raised taxes. But I had to have those hard conversations that, like right now, Rutherford County is facing because of we don't have any money.
Right.
With our growth and everything else, the county system is just, the city is, Smyrna and Murfreesboro are doing just fine with impact fees, but not with the county not having anything, and not having at the state level the understanding of what we're going through.
Right.
And I get it. I said it out there. There's only 22 counties that have a population greater than what our student population is. We got 55,000 students, and there's only 22 counties that have more than 55,000 residents.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's 95 counties in the state. So you can see where a guy in East Tennessee or a guy in West Tennessee doesn't feel the problems that we're going through, and they feel like it's a little bit self-imposed at some point, and they don't have the compassion that for us. But I commend you for jumping in that battle up there, because that's going to be a tough one. So those many people.
It's just not fair, literally, that someone who's lived in Rutherford County, say, 30, 40, 50
Right.
years, and they worked hard, and they, to get out of debt, and the burden of educating and taking care of the infrastructure is all on property owners. Yeah. And if you buy a home, the county may not see that tax for up to a year.
Yeah.
After, and if you brought 2 or 3 children to the system, the property tax that you're going to pay is just minuscule compared to what the infrastructure takes to fund.
Exactly right.
Well, that has to give. It really does. We're approaching crisis level, and Wayne, you especially understand this. Approaching crisis level with how we're going to pay for these services that the county really isn't choosing to provide. The vast majority of them are constitutionally or statutorily mandated that the county provides. Yet they don't have that flexibility in how they're going to pay for it. And like you said, we're not alone in these challenges, but we're facing it probably more than any other community in the entire state, and that makes it even more important that we're trying to get folks in the legislature that recognize that see that, and at the very least try to allow as much flexibility and freedom to the local governments, to the county commission, to the city councils as possible. I'd imagine we don't want the federal government telling the state government what to do, and time again, we have the state government approaching and telling the local government what to do. And it's
Funny
not
how
because,
that works.
It's not because I think they believe that to be the best way to do it. I think it's because, you get a lot of folks who get up there and get fat and happy and enjoy the lobbyist steak dinners and the golf outings and getting courted, and it makes it pretty dang difficult when they have forgotten, really, who's paying you. Who's paying you to be up there working for them? And it's those folks that voted you in. And one of my favorite quotes is from a former Speaker of the House in Georgia, telling the members, "Y'all ought to remember something. The folks that put you in there can take your fanny out just as quick as they did." Right.
That's right.
And that's something that you have to you got to have that weight on you up there. Otherwise, you're going to get sucked in like Ronnie, in that system. And that's not good for anybody except the silk suit wearing folks in Nashville.
Exactly right. You listen to Ronnie Martin and Tucker Marcum. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with you in just a minute.
As a leader in environmental services, sustainability is deeply integrated into our business model. At Middle Point Landfill, we are environmentalists at heart. This is Mike Klassen with Middle Point Landfill. We use cutting-edge technology in combination with our deep experience in recycling and waste services to protect our environment and our neighbors. That's our job, and that's our promise. We invite you to learn more about us at middlepointlandfill.com. Republic Services, we are sustainability in action.
Hi, this is Trevor from Bell Jewelers. Father's Day is almost here. Here at Bell Jewelers, we have a great selection of watches such as Longines, Seiko, and pre-owned Rolexes. Longines has many great watches, but my favorite are the Hydro Conquest GMT, Spirit Zulu Time, and the Legend Diver. We have those watches here at Bell Jewelers for you to come take a look at. Longines has more than 190 years of history and pioneering spirit. Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
When it comes to your home, memories and sentimental value are priceless. Farrah Construction can remodel your home or can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. That's Farrah Construction. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Okay, fellas, game's on the line. Let's get it right. Frank, you were closest. Was it fair or foul?
I don't know. I was distracted.
Distracted? By what?
Well, it's a loud crowd. These lights are awful bright. I just won big on a Tennessee Lottery instant game. And again, the lighting here. Somebody ought to say something.
You've got new instant games?
Yeah.
Enough to share?
Of course.
Fair ball! Have a ball with new instant games from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control. Listen each weekday morning at 9 o'clock for the Roundtable here on News Radio WGNS. Interesting hosts and guests with the news, views, politics, sports, and people that are shaping Rutherford County here on News Radio WGNS.
The City of Murfreesboro is partnering with American Job Center to bring you an incredible career fair with lots of opportunities. Join us 9 to 1 June 14th and take the plunge into something different. The June 14th Career Fair on the Civic Plaza in front of Murfreesboro City Hall, Vine, and South Church Street.
Let's check those WGNS Good Neighbor events. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Phone the Red Cross and set up an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Several farmers markets to take advantage of. A produce-only farmers market Tuesday and Friday mornings from 7 until noon over at the Lane Agri Park. That's on the John R. Rice Boulevard, just down from Sam's and next to Paws. There's another farmers market Saturday mornings from 8 until noon, all around the Rutherford County Courthouse. Our hats off to Main Street, Murfreesboro for that one. Saturday mornings at the courthouse. And at the same time, Saturday mornings from 8 until noon, there's a farmer's market at the train depot in Smyrna. Some great opportunities for some farm fresh food. The Parkinson Support Group meets next week, on Friday of next week, 10 o'clock, over at the St. Clair Street Senior Center. That's Friday the 21st. And Juneteenth is this Saturday from 10 until 4 over at Bradley Academy Museum and Cultural Center. And those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
We'll see sunny skies here this afternoon, a high around 80 degrees. Then for tonight, partly cloudy, a low near 54. By Wednesday, sunshine, a high of 86 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 66.
WGNS powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Looking to go solar? MTE's Pro Solar program is committed to educating members on the process and helping them achieve their renewable energy goals. Learn more about Pro Solar and your free consultation at mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And it's our pleasure and honor this morning to have former City Councilman and Senior Vice President of Pinnacle Bank, Ronnie Martin, and Tucker Marcum, who is an energy development professional and a candidate for state representative. So again, pleased to have you gentlemen this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we were talking off air just now on karate, and I feel like we need to bring it up into it because this is what people like to hear. I think three out of the four of us I was in Bushido, and I never got to speak on it, but I got all the way up to like my brown belt. But a buddy of mine had his like third degree black belt, and he ran a school. Well, I found out real quick he would sit back and we ran all the classes. You know, it was like,
Smart,
yeah. Well, it's just going to help you in your development, get your black belts. You're going to run all these classes for me. So I've quickly figured out, you know, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't think.
Now that I know that, I'm scared to say anything on the radio show. Now that I know that, one wrong word.
Careful,
one
man.
wrong
It's
word.
coming. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Martin is the, you know, as far as the martial arts, it's the youthful one, and he's probably the one that can kick the hardest and kick the highest. So
we won't find out. We won't find out.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I don't know the old guys. I'm kind of like you. The big old guys, you didn't want to get them too far. I had one that he could mule kick, and I think I touched an 8-foot ceiling one time when he mule kicked me, and I was real quick. Don't get too close. So keep it.
I'll tell you, there was a gentleman who, and I won't mention him on air because he may not want me to, but there was a gentleman at our school. Of course, I go to Bill Taylor's school, and there was a gentleman in there that was visiting. It was a visiting sensei that was there. And, and I was a KA, or am a KA from Middle Tennessee State University, so we had a fraternity there. And anyway, long story short, there was a connection that I did not know. So he knew I was a KA from MTSU, and there's a fraternal bond there. So he decided to come and introduce himself to me, which I was appreciative of. And long story short, he said, "Hey, can I show you something after class?" And I said, "Yeah, you know, if somebody takes an interest in you, they want to show you something." You're like, "Yes, sir, I'll be glad to do that." And I'm going to guess he was, I hope I don't hurt his feelings, but, and hang in here with me, Wayne, early to mid-70s or so.
Yes.
So I've got some gray hair, but he had a lot more gray hair than I had. But anyway, he pulled me in one of the small rooms, and he said, "This thing you're doing, you know, we were doing this side view and cat stance," and he said, "When you do this, you know, you want to turn like this." And all of a sudden, he did this spinning back kick, and he put his foot in my chest. But what was amazing to me is that I never saw it coming. And he knew exactly, and you guys who have, you know, practiced martial arts will know this, he knew exactly the spacing he needed to be for me to land that kick and hit me directly in the chest, but it only moved me like an inch from where I was. So he didn't push me back like 2 feet. He didn't try to hurt me.
Right.
He was trying to teach me something. But I was amazed. I was like, this old guy just put his foot in my chest, and there wasn't anything I could have done about it. So, you know, it was eye-opening to me, and it was one of those things we were talking off air, that had I known that as a younger man, I probably just would have studied martial arts and not played sports.
Well, in the manipulations and compliance techniques are pretty neat too, because, you know, when somebody gets up in your face, and you want them to back off, there's some things you can do without actually hurting them, but getting their attention.
Yeah, and it gives you, and I think about this for young people because I'm in an intermediate class. For those that do not know, so I'm in the Wadi-Ru style of karate, and I'm almost a green belt, and then you're a brown belt for a pretty long period of time, and then you work up to being a first dan, which is black belt. But in the class that I'm in, people give me a hard time because they say, "Are you, the Kramer episode, Seinfeld episode, where you beating up on the kids?" And we have fun with that, But I'm in a class with people who are, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And so you get a variety of age and talent and skill that's in there, athleticism that's in there. But it's really fun to see the confidence that a lot of the people in karate, especially young people, do not possess, and what karate will do for their self-esteem. And it's just amazing, and it's really fun to watch that happen in there.
Confidence.
It's
Builds
really
that
amazing.
confidence.
Yeah,
It does.
super
Discipline,
amazing.
confidence, it brings all of it out.
Rick, of course, with his law enforcement background, he probably knows some compliance techniques that I hadn't even thought of, but I haven't tested.
They teach you. It's like karate. They teach you a whole lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, you're fighting for your life out there. And I'm not a fair fighter. I'll kick, bite, spit. I'm going home. It's just going to happen.
That's exactly right.
But speaking of sparring, if you're running against Tim Rudd, y'all got any debates coming up or anything? I know there's been kind of the county GOP's kind of set a date or wanted to set a date. How's that going?
Yeah, need to talk to Brian Barrett here to try to get a forum going on up here. But no, challenged Tim to 3 debates about a month ago, and really think it's important to one, allow folks to answer for their record and what they haven't accomplished and have accomplished in Nashville, and present that opportunity for folks who once again are paying you to be working for them. To really share that. Nothing. Young Republicans sent out an invitation, declined. The county GOP is doing a candidate forum. One candidate in for 30 minutes, they leave. Other candidate comes in for 30 minutes. So we'll see if he shows up to that one. But I think it's important. I really do. You got to be present. I say it at the door. I've knocked on over 6,500 doors. Trying to meet folks, where they're at and learn what issues they want, they want to see prioritized and focused on. And the only way you can do that is by being present. It is. And the amount of times that I've went to the doors and I've heard, I've reached out to Tim and called him and emailed him and didn't get a response back. Just makes me feel bad more than anything. It makes me a little angry too, but makes me feel bad. And that's why during this campaign, I think we're trying to show the different campaign styles is how we're going to, is how the difference in actually legislating is going to be. It's going to be present. I tell folks at the door, no reason to believe me, but I don't want this to just be an election year thing. It can't be. And that's what's missing, I think, a lot of years and years ago, you knew where your legislator. You knew that they were going to be up at the Citgo station at 8 o'clock on that Saturday morning, and you knew where to go to speak with them. And that's gone. That's gone, at least in this seat. And very disappointed that there hasn't been a debate. That he's declined all invitations, because we're gonna pull this one off. We've knocked on over 6,500 doors, endorsements from 15 local elected officials, which y'all been around a lot longer than I have in politics. I think that's unheard of in a primary against an incumbent, and great financial support. So we're doing it the right way. And I told somebody, y'all get a kick out of this. I told somebody last week that at a door, I said, I'm the only candidate in this race that doesn't think WORK is a radio station. and I mean that. I mean that. So we'll see. We'll try to get WGNS to hold something.
Tucker, what do you think the strategy is for not having a debate? I think if I'm an incumbent and I feel prepared, I think I would invite that. What's the thinking there?
Tim's not prepared. And also, I don't have to be timid, right? I don't have to be proper. I can sit there and tell the truth about folks' records while they're not in Rutherford County, while they're up in Nashville, and then also, tell the truth about the record while they're in Rutherford County. That there's very negative relationships with our county commissioners, with our city council members, and all municipalities. We have a state rep that isn't present, doesn't show up, and I think when you're put in that position. It's easy to chicken out of it. So I don't know. I think it's going to bite. It's going to bite back. Either way, I'm meeting as many folks as possible, showing up at their doorstep, having great conversations, and just letting them know, hey. One thing too, we might disagree on stuff, but first and foremost, trying to build a relationship that has some respect and integrity in it. So when those disagreements happen, it's not catastrophic. And I think that's missing in politics, especially up in Nashville and the legislature. Think that's a really, really important way to do it differently. And promise to hey, my cell phone number's on the bottom of the card, and hey, I mean it. Anything pops up, especially when I win this, I work directly for you. I'm going to return the phone calls, and return the emails, and show up and be present. And that's something we haven't had in a good while in this district, and I think in the county as a whole, with a lot of seats.
Tucker, you mentioned early about the surpluses that the state has with the lottery. Has there been some conversation about sending some of those funds down to help the really fast-growing counties like Rutherford and Sumner and some of the, like I said, the high-growth counties, to help them with schools and other infrastructure needs?
Yeah, that's been a conversation the past 2 legislative sessions, and we can't afford to have it be a conversation anymore, right? Like there has to be some action on it. Talking about budget surpluses, especially, even this year, we heard over and over again that the state's in a tough financial time. You still had a large tax cut, which franchise and excise tax cut, great. I think the next one we need to have is a grocery tax elimination. We're one of only 10 states that still taxes groceries. Folks always say, well, we have no income tax. Of the, I believe, 13 states that have no income tax, we're still the only state that taxes groceries. So if we're talking tax relief, that's a real tangible in folks' pockets every single week that folks feel. So a different perspective on that. But no, the time for conversation around these funds, especially with the lottery funds and then some of these other sources, to go to high growth counties, that can't be a conversation anymore. We got to move on it. Because I've been saying we're approaching crisis level, but I think we're in crisis level here. Well, and most growth counties are, with how we're going to pay for these services that, once again, I keep saying it, but once again, are constitutionally and statutorily mandated that the counties and sometimes the municipalities have to provide. And we need that relief from the state.
I agree. It blew me away when the last legislative meeting happened, where the legislators in the local level, when they met with the county commission, and there was sitting up there as a state rep and saying that he wasn't aware of the problems that was happening in Rutherford County. He wasn't aware of the money issues because he said nobody had approached him. And they were telling us they're only in 3 months out of the year. So there's 12 months in a year. They're only there. So they're 9 at home in their home counties or wherever they're from. But they want the reps to come and us as people go to their offices in Nashville while they're in session. It's almost like, well, I get paid $15,000 for that 90 days, and you better just, when I'm making my $15,000, you need to come over and talk to me. And
it's a full-time year-round job, and that's what frustrated me. Yeah. The fact that Tim sat there and said, hey, if you want, we need to meet. I promise we need to meet. But if y'all want to, as county commissioners who represent, what are the district now, about 20,000 people, who represent about 20,000 people, y'all meet me at 9 a.m. at the state capitol office building and drive an hour and a half through Nashville traffic on 24, pay $30 to park, walk over to the capitol offices,
go through the metal detectors,
take your belt off, take your shoes off, come meet with us, walk back to the parking garage, pay to leave, drive an hour and a half, 2 hours back in traffic if you're there too long.
Rather than a cup of coffee.
Let's go to Brasshorn, Ronnie. Let's go out to lunch for Elrod's at Rockville. How hard is that? And that's just as simple as doing the job well versus poorly. It does not take much more effort to do the job well. It's being accessible, being present, showing up, responding, and folks have forgotten what the real work is, and don't have that work ethic and drive to really earn that penny that folks are paying you to be up there working for them.
Good deal. Listen to Ronnie Martin, Senior Vice President of Pinnacle Bank, and Tucker Marcum. He's a running for office, the 34th district for state rep. But we're going to take our second break and be right back with you in just a minute.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Bud's Tire has been helping Rutherford County with tires, oil changes, brakes, and more since 1987. This is Kay Mitchell, and even though we opened Bud's Tire in 1987, Bud started changing tires with his father next to the old hardware store in the 1950s. Just as it was true in the 50s, it is still true today. At Bud's Tire, you will always get friendly customer service. Visit Bud's Tire on the Old Woodbury Highway or call us at 896-TIRE. That's 896-8473.
Hey guys, this is Scott. If you're often feeling tired, notice a lack of motivation and drive, or weight gain and loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels, so don't wait to find out. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. It's as simple as a blood test, and with their on-site lab, you'll get your results in about 25 minutes. Low T Center is not your typical doctor's office either. It's concierge medicine for men, and their physicians specialize in treating low testosterone with a customized treatment plan for each patient. If you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy, shipping treatments directly to you without the need to come in for weekly visits. So get back to your best. Get to Low T Center to find out your testosterone levels. And right now at Low T Center, it's only $25 to get your testosterone level tested. You'll get your results in about 25 minutes. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies at the good old premises.
Premier 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the third and final segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And it's been our pleasure this morning to have candidate for the state representative Tucker Marcum and former city councilman and senior vice president of Pinnacle Bank Ronnie Martin. So we've had some great conversation this morning.
I've enjoyed it. Thanks.
Sure have. So I want to touch base. We skimmed over it a while ago about how many doors you've knocked on, being 6,500. And I'd said early on, and I'm probably showing my age, but Lamar Alexander, when he ran for governor of Tennessee, he had the red and black plaid shirt and blue jeans and a red C10 pickup truck, and that was his commercials. And
we're the only ones that remember
that.
They
don't remember any of that. But he won that election, but he had that "I'm a hometown boy," and he carried that through. And you're kind of treating it the same way because it's not easier to knock on 6,500 doors than meeting people. That's doing it the hard way.
But it's so very important. I mean, you have to. Probably about 2 weeks ago, I was out knocking, and I'm knocking in covering some of the rural areas. So I was out in Midland and went and talked to somebody and had a great conversation. And they said, "Hey, we lived here for 32 years and have never had a candidate come by our house and ask for our vote and talk with us about the issues." So we're going to every corner of the district. This is such a great district. Touch basically all parts of it. Downtown Murfreesboro, Case and Lane, St. Andrews area. and then basically everything west of 231, south of 99, with a couple of exceptions. So it gets all the good folks in Christiana, Midland, Rockville, Eagleville for sales, and really covering all parts of the district. Learn, the needs in someone in Evergreen Farms are not the same needs as someone out in Eagleville. They're just not. And trying to get in front of them is important. And also, I think by showing up as many times as I have to, I've been going back to some folks for multiple times already, even sometimes 3 times already. And I think that, really corresponds to the work ethic that I'm going to take to Nashville. I'm going to sleep a lot August 2nd. I'm going to get a lot more sleep August 2nd, but that work ethic is going to still stay there. And I think it's a benefit, for the folks who you're getting paid to be representing them. It is a benefit to have someone that has that work ethic, who wants to go to Nashville. First and foremost, build, and this is missing in politics, first and foremost, build relationships outside of politics with these folks who, you're still a body of 99 plus, another body of 33 senators, and build those relationships. Because, Wayne, me and you could sit here for 3 hours, and I'm sure I imagine there's some sort of political differences that we have on some issues. But first and foremost, if you have that relationship that's filled with a little bit of integrity, a little bit of respect, when those things happen, it's not catastrophic. And that's what we don't have now. There's not an interest in building those relationships, maintaining those relationships. So I'm going to do that differently. I'm going to show up there to work every single day, and work as hard as I possibly can. And kind of have. I think you got to feel that weight too. It's a weight to have about 75,000 people that you're supposed to be carrying the water for, and representing their values and issues they care about. And if that I know it does during the campaign, but if that doesn't pop you out of bed in the morning ready to go to work, that's a problem. And it's probably time for you to go home. So that's not going to be the case. And if I ever get that case, I want folks to fire me. So, and you got to have that too. You got to carry that weight of, hey, folks you get a job performance review every 2 years, and you gotta put that work in to make sure that performance review is in your favor every 2 years.
With TDOT, so fast as we're growing, traffic right now, being in Murfreesboro, just get from one side to the other. I've got some in-laws in town right now. My brother-in-law's in from Virginia, and they were going to go across town, and they said, well, it shouldn't take us that long. And I said, I'll see you about an hour and a half. Because, it's that time of day. You just can't get from one side of the city to the other.
This is a plug for downtown. This is why everybody needs to move downtown, because it's only 15 minutes in every direction. If you go from Las Casas to Christiana, it's an hour. But if you go from downtown to Christiana, it's 15 minutes. So
it sure is.
I lived on Lytle, loved it. It's different. Everyone needs to do it.
I've always wanted to live downtown. I'm an old history buff, and the old houses downtown and everything I just think would be great. But now they're cold in the winter and they're hot in the summer. I hear.
So true, man. Brooke and I live at the corner of Lytle and Manny, and, and it's a 100-year-old house.
Yeah.
And, it's been redone, and we've made it ours, and all that kind of stuff, and it's nice. But that's very true, and it's got it's a place that doesn't have a subfloor, so everything squeaks when you walk through it, and you're tempted to rip it all out and put a subfloor, but then it's not really set up to do that. Yeah, so
This is one of the few mornings I hadn't complained driving down I-24, saying that I was practicing driving on the moon or the Martian surface, because there's so many potholes and so rough.
And to that TDOT issue, the reality is, and I'm under no, and I don't think we have it now, so I'm under no false impression that, and not telling the voters that we're getting in there and changing the way TDOT's happening and projects we're doing in TDOT in Rutherford County. I'm going to go to bat every single day to get as many pennies back as humanly possible on road projects in TDOT. But what I will do that hasn't been done is 2 things. First and foremost, you got to really go and attempt to build a relationship with either the commissioner or the folks who run the day-to-day at Tennessee Department of Transportation. I like to go back to this. There's that on-ramp going I-24 north on New Salem that was it was even worse than the moon for about 3 solid months. And we have problems pop up all the time that go on for a long time, and it shouldn't work this way, but unfortunately it does. When government, when it's moving slow or it's moving broken, it's sometimes a little easier and you can get them moving a little bit when the legislators or the folks in that body who really determine if they have money to buy a pencil or not, give them that push, right? And I see that as a large part of the job. I also see it as, you're not going to, I don't believe you're going to speed it up necessarily, but build relationships with these superintendents that are working on these TDOT projects in Rutherford County. And at the very least, let folks know what's happening with it. So we aren't sitting here saying, well, why is New Salem not done yet up there? Why is this happening? The legislator that covers that area could have those relationships and get that message out. And that's another point that kind of adds to, hey, this is a job, you're working for them, and I'm going to do it right. So on all those, that's a way to look at TDOT differently and kind of a little comparison there. But really all areas of state government. By January, when I win this primary, I want to really try to have identified a relationship in really every public-facing department that's in the state government. So when folks have those problems, when government's moving slow, not efficient, it's broken, you have the ability to hopefully speed that up and make it more efficient for your folks who you're representing. And I think that's definitely missing.
It's a little bit cart before the horse, but have you reached out some of the other state reps in other counties? One that comes to mind real quick is State Rep Scott Zupicki in Murray County, because he's doing Murray County's having a whole lot of the growing pains that and the same funding issues that Rutherford County, and there was obviously a bill that came through last session of last year that he was pushing through, and Representative Rudd in committee chastised him for it and actually made a motion to remove Rutherford County from it, to take him totally off. But you are saying a whole lot of the same things, it seems like to me, that I've heard Representative Zupicki. Have you talked to him or any of the other state reps that
I've reached out to a bunch
values
of them.
well?
I haven't talked to Representative Zupicki. August 2nd, I'm picking up that phone and driving over to Murray County and meet with him, because something has to give there. And you're not wrong. The last two legislative sessions, Tim has killed any attempt for the county to look at alternative revenues outside of property taxes. Even a bill that was a local bill, and how it's always worked. If your folks, if I'm a representative in Blount County, if your folks in Rutherford County are asking you for something, your county commissioners, your city councils are saying we need this and it only affects the folks in your district, I got you. When my folks in Blount County need something that only affects us in Blount County that our folks are asking for, I need you. But the moment you have a member of the delegation from that county that is asking for some relief and just the ability to choose how they get their revenues, I have my personal beliefs on the best revenue sources, and no one's saying that this growth and development conversation is solving all the problems. Not a single person believes that, not a single person saying that. But it's a step, and it's a step that should be decided at the local level. We don't want the federal government telling the state government what to do. The state government's telling the local government what to do, while sending down all these unfunded mandates that they have to make up for. And I think that should be left up to the local elected officials. And as our process should work, if they do something outrageous, there's elections soon, right? That in my eyes is how it should work, and is the opposite view of Tim. So.
Well, I'm just curious, for someone that doesn't know, why would he ask for Rutherford County to be? What's the speculation there? I mean, what was the explanation behind that?
It was, I think, a couple different reasons. I think, and this is in politics as a whole right now, you got a lot of egos and personalities that gets put in front of policy and good policy. So I think it was a lot of hurt feelings. I think you have no incentive for the local elected officials. Don't feel warm and fuzzy feelings when trying to get support on these pieces of legislation. So they were looking at alternative paths. So I think that was it. There's a very, very powerful special interest in lobbying groups that are opposing this every single day. And I've met with a bunch of them and had good conversations, and I'm very optimistic August 2nd that we can get something over the finish line, and understand where they might fall. But you cannot be beholden to these special interest groups and these lobbyists, and that's what it seems like so many folks up there do, and I think that played a large part in it, and was unfortunate. But I do think there's a path to get through it, cool off, try to slow down the personalities and egos on all sides of interested parties and really come together and say, hey, we all recognize there's a problem. What can we get over the finish line? I'm a firm believer that politics is the art of the possible, and that's missing. There's no the environment right now doesn't welcome, hey, what can we accomplish here? What can we get done? It's I'm way over here, and I'm not budging. And that's not how a good policy happens. All that creates is hurt feelings and bruised egos and taxpayers getting left in the wind.
Since we're getting close to the end, I did not want to leave without saying, Councilman Martin, God bless you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
And Tucker, God bless you for wanting to serve.
Yeah. Thank you, Wayne.
Ronnie, are interest rates moving at all? There's a whole lot of talk that they're, everybody knows. I know the real estate market was to go ahead and buy now because you can always refinance later, but there just doesn't seem like they're budging.
No, and you get this, and we could spend a whole lot of time talking about this. But I think it is sound, even though it's not popular, that higher interest rates do curb inflation. And you were talking about grocery costs and things like that. Everything matters when you're paying, people are paying more at the grocery store and they're getting less. And so all that stuff matters. Interest rates by design are designed to put downward pressure on those prices. And so we hope when consumer prices consistently show flat to negative growth, that we'll get some relief in rates, because the more money that's out in the market, the more rapidly business can expand, and the more that can happen, which tends to heat it up, not cool it off. And so having high rates cools it off to try to bring some of those things down, but there's pain that comes with that. And so the pain we're talking about is buy the house, don't marry the rate kind of thing, kind of stuff, and all that's fair. But I just think it's not that I want it to be this way. I wish it were not this way, but I think we've got another couple of years of economic uncertainty as some of this stuff works its way out. And I would even say this could go back to the COVID probably started with a lot of that money being pushed into the system, which I'm not saying was bad. It helped people, it helped businesses stay afloat. There's been a lot of money in our system for a long time, and it got really hot. And I think the artificial environment was not good. So I think rates are going to be high for a while. I hope they do come down. And I tell you, just to jump away from this for a second, something I was thinking of when Tucker was talking about, the relationship piece. One thing I'm really excited about in partnership with working with state and local officials. I don't know if you all know, Darren Gore just recently became city manager.
Smyrna High graduate. He was Smyrna High.
Man, I don't know how well people know Darren, and a lot of times the city manager is somewhat insulated. But you take, in contrast to some of the managers we've had in the past, like I've worked directly with Craig Tyndall, and Craig is exceptionally bright, an attorney by trade, but he does not have that soft touch that Darren Gore would have. And Darren's, an engineer by training, exceptionally smart, an exceptional leader of people, an exceptional individual. I just can't tell you how good he's going to be for the city of Murfreesboro, and how proud I am that the council put him in that spot, or was able to convince him to do that, because that is not a great job. That's a tough
arm twisting.
That's a tough job, but no one is better suited to do that than Darren. And
really good guy.
Just can't say enough positive things about him. So Tucker, you would be nice to him when you get in.
I would be, anything that affects municipalities. I'm calling all these folks. I'm calling all these folks.
Yeah. Well, Tucker, thank you for coming on with us today. Good luck. And early voting starts when? What are we looking at date-wise?
July 12th through the July 27th, Election Day, August 1st.
And if they got any questions, if they're in your district or another district, do you know how a person can figure that out, or other than looking their voter card? And I know that's the biggest thing. They don't understand who's voting and where they're at.
Elections.rutherfordcounty.tn.gov. Somewhere, go to the Rutherford County government webpage. There's a map on there. You can find it. My website.
Put your address in, and it'll kind of spit it out who's representing you for everything. So thanks again, y'all, for being with us, and I hope everybody enjoyed our show today, and we'll be back with you next Tuesday as always. I won't be here. Wayne, you're a lonesome dove next week.
Well, I'll try to survive.
Tip of the spear. Tip of the spear.
That's right.
Everybody have a great day. Thanks.